Kate here from the Robot Card, and today I'm finally playing AdAstra. Now, this is popular among the furry community, and as a furry myself, I decided, hey, I should finally play this game. Now, I have heard that this game does have some forms of nonsense work in it, so I will have to edit some things, or censor some things, so we'll have my fully uncensored versions on my Patreon. Anyways, let's do this. It's so large. Is that about Earth? Too much. How do they get anything done? We find a way. 16 down. Shall we proceed with the directive? Amicus? If I mispronounced anything, I'm sorry. I don't know. Are you sure they're level 5? Data from missions 3265 193 indicates primate species with level 5 intelligence and understood. Thank you. Most recent data indicates that all uplift attempts fail. That figures. Why did we try to uplift here in the first place? 16 down. Shall we proceed? Name of the planet? Earth. Location of Romanus uplift? The city of Rome, in the state of Italy. Is the probe there? It has arrived. Give me a visual. Zoom in. That doesn't look like AdAstra at all. Reminder that uplift failed. Ruins of uplift attempt remain. Show me the ruins. Showing the Roman form. Sensing doubt. Shut up, please. What the hell are they even saying? That's not the language. It's all messed up. Sensing that creature there. They're called humans. Be closer. It's a human? Collecting data. He appears to be a young male human. Initiate landing sequence. Have you located the directive? Yes. You know, if aliens do ever come to Earth, I do hope that there is an alien species that's just furries. Like, are basically furries. That would be awesome. Warning, that full Nexus analysis is incomplete. Now, please, we cannot waste time outside of the stretch drive. Initiating landing sequence. Alright. It's hard to believe that I'm actually here. After years of fantasizing about it, I'm in Rome. Honestly, I would like to visit Rome one day. That would be cool. I think there's a lot of places I would like to visit. I'm bouncing around with my friends like an idiot all day. Yeah, I look like a total tourist. But this is what I've been saving up for the past 2 years. A whole semester in Rome with the study abroad program. All the conversations I've had with my parents about what a waste of money would be evaporates from my brain as I take in view. I mean, yeah, it is a beautiful place. We only have a few hours, so we move from the Forum to Plantain Hill, and then finally to a nearby disco where I get just a little drunk. Yeah, just a little drunk, sure buddy. Before I know it, it's 2 in the morning, and somehow my friends and I are able to stumble into a taxi that takes us back to our apartments. Sounds fun. I'm walking steadily through the darkness, glad that I have the place to myself now. Apparently my group was the first to arrive, and I missed, and my assigned flatmates won't be here for a few days at least. I open the door to my room and move my hand along the wall. I stumble in, then sit on my bed, bouncing happily for a moment. What the wall stays? Or is that just the core? I think about going out onto the balcony, but I've been walking all day and it feels too nice to be sitting down. Plus, it might not be a great idea considering the state I'm in right now. Yeah, that's true. When you're drunk, a balcony is the last place you want to be next to. Well, unless you're on, like, the first floor, then you're fine, but, you know. Yeah, what I'm saying is, if you're drunk, don't go near a balcony. Still, just knowing the magic of the city is just outside my window is going to make it hard to sleep. sigh happily and look around my little room. Actually, I'm told that it's kind of big by the city's standards. Alright? It's still a little bare since I just moved in today. I basically just dropped my suitcase next to the door before running out again. I glanced at them, but decided I'm way too tired right now to unpack, even if my pajamas are in there. It's fine, I'm just laying on the top of the covers. I'll get to it tomorrow. In the meantime, I just lay back, smiling in the afterglow of today's excitement. And tomorrow I get to see even more. Damn it, I need to calm down. Now, no way I'm going to have the energy of an tomorrow with my mom all night. About the whole semester, and on top of the school doesn't actually start for another 2 weeks. On top of that, okay, there's plenty of time. Just relax for now and enjoy it. With that low in my head, if that's on my head, I start to think. Something moves. I lay there in the dark, wondering if I dreamed it. I had been dreaming, even though I can't remember exactly what it was about. Something about a portal, maybe. I listened for a while, but there's no other sound, just the occasional soft whoosh of a car passing by outside my balcony. Also, it does sound peaceful. Not as peaceful as, like, rain, though, but, you know. Shift around the flow. The suffocating humidity is making the sheets stick to my skin, and I wonder if maybe there's a fan in the closet. I finally sit up in my bed, realizing that there's no way I'm going to fall back to sleep like this. I could at least try sliding open the balcony door, though I'm not sure that will do me any good. Worth a try, I guess. I groggily slide out of bed and try to slide the glass door open, but it doesn't budge. I struggle for a few more seconds before sighing and moving towards the door to find the light switch. My feet slide along the semi-cooling floor, which feels great, while my hands stretch out in front of me, searching for the wall. Right then I remember that I was woken up by noise, and I imagined some intruder standing there in the dark, waiting for me to bump into him. Feeling the hair stand up on the back of my neck, I quicken my pace and find the wall, fumbling around until I quickly glance around the room and believe that it's empty. My parents have warned me about the crime rate here. While the city is technically safe in terms of murder, robberies and muggings are apparently pretty common. Yeah, you always have to be careful about the crime rates of places you go to. I had shrugged it off at the time, but now that I'm alone, I make my way to the balcony, looking for the lock before finally seeing that there's a latch near the top of the door. I unhook it and slowly slide the door open. I'm disappointed to find that the air waiting from outside is almost as stuffy as the air inside. Oh, that sucks. Still, I take the moment to stare out the lights of the city for a while. Even though I'm more interested in the ruins, the city itself is undeniably beautiful. Something like my hometown. That's when I noticed that there is a strange smell in the air, like burning rubber. I stick my head out a bit further, looking around for the source, but I see nothing. Maybe that's normal here? I look back at the clock on the wall. 4 a.m. I sigh and shuffle back to the bed, only realizing that I've left the light on once, and I've already fallen back first onto the covers. I sigh and will myself to get up, but the tiredness has returned, and the heavy humidity is almost like a warm blanket pressing down on me. I close my eyes. I'll get up and turn it off in a second. Just need to rest my eyes for a bit. Just for a bit. Sure, just for a bit. Something moves again. There's another smell in the air. A good smell this time. Something floral. It reminds me of lavender. That's when something hard and sharp presses into my left eye socket, just above the eye. Holy shit. It doesn't really hurt, but it shocks me awake. Him. He leans over me. Something shiny in its grip, which it's pulling back from my head. Ow. Ah! I kick out with both feet, hitting thing leaning over me and its body. Out of the pull! It leans out a surprising grunt, stumbling back and falling on its rear while I scramble back on my bed, pressing myself against the wall. Almost immediately, it scrambles back up, revealing its massive build and its masculine shape. He's cute. I've seen this guy around before. Like, I've heard this game a while ago. And I didn't really think that much about it, but then, it's, I should finally play this game. He adjusts his cape, it smooths down his fur before rubbing at his chest, giving me an odd look. Then he fixes a smile back on his face. Ev. I stare. That's all I can do is stare. Don't blame you. He stares back at me for a moment, then clears his throat. Hey, hello! Space above my left eye throbs, and it sounds like I'm hearing two things at once from the same voice. Do you understand? Again, the bizarre twitching in my eye, in my brain, and hearing two things at once. I feel like I'm going to be sick. The room shifts and swirls a bit, then slowly starts to settle again. The twitching in my head turns into a dull sprawl. I'm having a nightmare. Do you understand me? I stare at him, and he stares back. Come on. I don't know if the chip is working. What? The creature raises its hand to its head, rubbing at it. Well, he can speak, and it's translating. Can you understand me? When am I going to wake up? He keeps staring at me, and automatically I respond to him. Yes? Ah, good. Seems it's finally working out. They take a moment to adjust to the host's brain. Alright. I struggle to keep up with his words. I'm still hearing what he's saying. It's almost Italian with the inflections and the rolling R's, but at the same time, it's definitely not Italian. Still, I can understand what he's saying, like he's speaking my own language at the same time. It makes it hard to concentrate. What is your name? His expectant look almost forces the answer out of my mouth. Kate. Kate, beautiful. I am Amicus. Confusing double language I was hearing is starting to fade, and now only my own language comes from his mouth. It's odd. The words not quite matching up with his lips. What's even more distracting are the massive canine that continues to flash behind those lips. Cannons? I don't know. I need to get the hell out of here. Dream or not, I do not like the look of teeth and claws on this thing. Is this lingua having troubles again? I don't respond. Instead of glancing at the door just to right and behind this amicus, he frowns. Well, you told me they're level 5, but I can't even speak with it. It takes a moment for me to realize he's not talking to me. I hear a soft chatter coming from the wolf, like someone's talking to him from a phone, but I can't see anything. Yeah? Well, he kicked me in the chest. Amicus rubs his chest with a frown. More muffled speaking. Of course I did it. He just kicked me. He's looking at me like he has no idea. More muffled speaking interrupts him. Oh, wait. What? Are you serious? Now he looks pissed, and I press myself harder against the wall, trying to work up the courage to make a break for the door. How? Wait. So you're already offering me options on my mood, but you couldn't offer that? More muffled babbling, but the wolf thing interrupts it with a snarl. Well, what the hell do I do now? His lips are drawn back, and now I get to have a real good view of those teeth? Cannons? I don't know. I stare wide-eyed at them, and that's when he seemed to notice me again. He adjusts his expression into a smile, but I can still see a fang poking out. That's cute. Hey, listen. Something about the way he acts, his expression, his demeanor. He's so human. Could you come with me outside for a quick moment? For some reason, the realization of his humanness makes me absolutely positive that this is a dream. This must be a character from a game or a movie that I've seen. I shake my head slowly at him. Please? I just stare, still waiting to wake up. I've had dreams where I couldn't wake up before. This is just one of those. I remember reading somewhere that if you aren't sure you're dreaming, you can plug your nose. If you can still breathe, then it's definitely a dream. But I remain frozen against the wall. The massive wolf sighs, and his paws suddenly move to his waist. I only have a moment to see some sort of device with multicolored lights before he moves, and my entire body seizes up, and things go black. My body feels strangely numb. It It's like when I wake up with a dead leg or arm, except right now it's my entire body. The only thing I can really feel is a sharp, cold pain behind and above my left eye. I try to wiggle my fingers and hands, wondering if I'm having some sort of sleep paralysis. They move. At least I think they do. Everything's so dark. And I'm still in the apartment? Usually there's a little bit of light coming from the balcony because of the street lamps, but everything is so pitch black. I start to feel a little panicky, both from the numb feeling and also the idea that I might have gone blind somehow. I'm trying to remember what happened last. Did I go out somewhere? Maybe a club? Disco? Did I take something? I start to push myself up, and that's when I feel something soft under my hands, something very hard under it, like concrete. I'm definitely not in bed right now. Now I really am starting to panic. I wonder if I've been kidnapped. I get on my hands and knees, thankfully at least the numb feeling is going away. I'm also relieved to find out that I'm not blind. I see a soft glow of light outlining what roughly the shape of the door in front of me. I open my mouth, about to call, before I force it shut again. I have no idea where I am or how I got here, but I'm not liking his signs. My head throbs low and I close my eyes tight, trying to steady my breathing, listening to my heart pound. I definitely got back to my apartment and I remember going to the bed, and then I remember my eyes fly open as I remember that wolf creature staring at me with those blue eyes. Those teeth. Oh my god, there's no way. There's no fucking way. I open my eyes again and stare at the soft light, trying to listen. There's a constant hum of some kind, a whirring of large machine. It's gentle and almost soothing, but it makes me think I'm in some sort of vehicle. But I don't feel anything, no bumps or turns. I slowly crawl towards the door, listening as hard as I can for voices or movement, anything that might tell me something's nearby. As I get closer to the door, I do hear something, a type of beeping and chirping. I stay in that position for what feels like a solid 15 minutes, not hearing anything more. I think about trying to open the door, but I realize that might not be a great idea. I still don't know if that wolf is real. No, I know he isn't real. Oh, but he is. What's more likely is that someone slipped something into my drink and I hallucinated everything. I had laughed off my parents' warnings that tourists are vulnerable in Rome, but now that doesn't seem so crazy. Someone had drugged me, followed me to my apartment, didn't kidnap me. I need something, a weapon, before I try opening the door. I feel like I'm in the closet of some kind, so there's probably something here that I can use. Slowly, I get on my knees and start moving my hands out in front of me. If I can find a shelf, then I can feel around for something solid, and my hands sweep what feels like a box, what follows as the clang of metal as something falls on the floor. I cringe, squeezing my eyes shut, and then sound of echoes around the room I'm in. I kneel there in complete silence, stunned. That's when lights glow over my body, followed by a large shadow. Oh hey, you're awake! You know he was awake? Yes, for approximately 2 hours. I swear to the gods, why are you so useless? I sit there, not having turned around yet, but the shadow gets bigger and I feel him looming over me. I get a whiff of lavender. Finally, I slowly turn my head and see the wolf. He towers over me, his broad muzzle pointed down so that he can look me right in the eyes. While his size and general demeanor are intimidating, his eyes are warm and friendly. That doesn't really matter to me right now, as I realize that I hadn't been dreaming or hallucinating earlier. Or the dream/hallucinating is going on. The wolf moves towards me, and I immediately scoot back until the shells behind me dig into my spine. Oh. I vaguely noticed the metal thing that knocked over earlier. It's a polygon-shaped thing with a long cord running out of it. Remember, the human doesn't know about the Galactians. Seek caution. The wolf's ears flick before he visibly tries to write his expression to a smile. Hello, human. Sorry I meant Kate, right? Again, I get caught up in watching the movements of his mouth counter what I'm hearing in my brain. And I notice he's waiting, watching me intently. I open my mouth, then close it, then nod. The wolf still stares at me, seeming not to understand. Right? The silence stretches out until I finally force myself to speak. Yes. It comes out in barely a whisper. Great! So now that we understand that, I can tell you that I'm from the star Alameda, very far from here. Wolf sets his paw far apart. Yeah, his eyes wide as he emphasizes the distance. He's talking to me in a way one might to a very dumb 2-year-old. I live on the moon called AdAstra. He said it. You know what a moon is? You live on what's called a planet. I stare at him for a moment, almost offended despite my counting shock, or continuing shock. Nicholas smiles gently. A moon is large. I know what a moon is. Nicholas blinks at me. We have one. My words feel automatic. Actually, everything feels like it's on autopilot right now. Oh! Well, I didn't know that. That's great. There's an awkward silence as the two of us stare at each other. The initial fear is wearing off. I feel that if this alien is meaning to hurt me, he would have done it by now. At least, for now. Minkus rubs his paws together nervously. Are you hungry? He mentions emotions out of his mouth, then rubs his stomach while licking his lips. Again, gestures and expressions that I have no trouble interpreting. The only alien thing about him is his appearance. I don't know. The wolf frowns, almost looking frustrated. His slow speech gets even slower. Well, why don't we give it a try then? I guess my answers don't exactly make sense, seem intelligent. But I don't know how to respond. Why don't you come out onto the deck with me? I'll make something. Minkus gives an exaggerated come on gesture with both paws as he walks backwards, straight into a wall as he misses the door. Aww. Ow. Yeah, let's go, human. Rubs the back of his head with a wince before turning and walking out the door. I love him. I stare at the open door for a moment before slowly getting up and following him, walking over a brown shag rug, the soft thing I'd been laying on. That's when I'm standing in the middle of what looks like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. It's small and cramped, but the amount of unfamiliar glowing technology is almost overwhelming. Glass panels cover almost every inch of the walls around me, displaying images and characters that I can't even come close to understanding. Straight ahead of me are two large windows, looking out into the blackness filled with specks of light. Specks of light. I'm in a spaceship. Where the hell is he taking me? Minkus is over to my right side, messing with what I can only describe as a large espresso machine growing out of the side of the spaceship. He's holding a cup under a nozzle, tucking down a little to stare at the opening. He notices me looking. Takes a while to warm up. I have to warn you that it's not very good, but it's probably better than most of what you eat on your moon planet. I mean, as he's talking, a very thick globe of brown sludge shoots out of the nozzle. Half of it's missing the cup. Aw, man. Damn it. Wolf hastily moves the cup to catch the rest of it while reaching over with his paw to snatch up a rag from a hook on the side of the machine. Sorry, this thing is near broken. Do you want to sit down? He nods his head over to one of the two seats in front of the windows. Just, don't touch any of the bright lights, okay? Make my way over to the front of the deck, still waiting to wake up. I sit beside the seat, reaching out to touch the soft red bristles of the helmet and the wings on the side. This only enforces the feeling that I'm hallucinating or dreaming. There's a strange Roman influence to Minkus in the ship, one that's almost cartoonish. Has my obsession over Rome gone too far? I can just imagine myself in some Italian hospital right now, babbling about Roman wolf aliens. Oh, and that's it. Minkus plants himself heavily in a seat next to mine, holding two cups of what looks like brown sludge. He holds one out to me. I take it gingerly before sitting down. Looking at the cup, the food has a consistency and look of half-melted chocolate ice cream. Except it's warm and smells like dirt. Like literal mud. I scratch my nose up at it, which Amicus notices. Yeah, it's not the best. I already had some good food that I brought along with me, but I ate it all before I got here. definitely strikes, and I also like the music, even if I heard that the music is like stock, free-to-use music. Still good. Tell me about where you're from. What's life like on Earth? It's okay. Well, you're not really. Okay, well, what's your occupation? I'm a student. Oh, what discipline? I tried to adjust to the surreal feeling of talking this much. I don't know yet. I was looking into history, Greek and Roman studies. That seems confusing then for some reason. Do you have an emperor? What's he like? I catch myself staring at his mouth again, at the weird way he is unsync with his words. No. Then how? I interrupt him. Why isn't your mouth matching up with the words you're making? Eh? Even with the spaceship and the alien around me, it's weird distortion of feeling like I'm watching a dubbed movie that has me most unsettled. Oh! Mikis points his finger to me, spot above my left eye. I gave you a lingua. It helps you understand me. I stare at him, but he doesn't offer anything more. How? Oh, well, it, sort of attaches to the language center in the brain. It's very smart. It learns from the host brain and is able to interpret the 8 major Galactic languages for them. And how does it do that? Well, our brains are structured in similar ways, at least amongst sapiens, so it works almost universally. Honestly, it's parental text, so I'm not fully sure of how it works. None of us do, but it does work. Lucas continues to look at me, clearly concerned about something. I'm concerned too. How did you get it into my brain? You asked a lot of questions, Miss Sarah. Well, this is all kind of new to me. Should I not be asking questions? It's fine. I've just never had a child ask me questions. Really. Anyways, there's a device that inserts it. I was lucky to find one left over on the ship. Inserts it. Rub the spot between my eye and eye socket. The skin suddenly tingling. Does it hurt? That should wear off in a few hours. I stare at Minnicus for a few moments, then down at my cup, feeling a bit sick. Staring at the brown mush isn't helping. Need help with that? You can eat it like this. He dips his muzzle down towards his own cup. He sticks out a long, thick pink tongue, pressing it into the sludge before cupping it and bringing it back up to his mouth. He pulls a bit of a face before smiling. Not terrible! Then he looks at me a bit closer. Wait, you do have a tongue, right? I stare back at him for a moment before setting the cup on the side of the armrest. What are you doing? Huh? What is all this? Where are you taking me? At this point, I'm starting to get over the shock. I'm also starting to get annoyed at the alien's complete disregard for basically everything to do with me. You kidnapped me, you left me in the closet, you're feeding me what looks like shit, and now you tell me you jabbed something in my brain. Mikis actually flinches at that. Does it still hurt? I can give you a pain manager. I don't really want anything from you. What is all this? Wolf stares at me wide-eyed. It's like he didn't even consider me being capable of being upset. Hey, it's okay. You kidnapped me. I feel myself getting more panicked, both from the realization of what's happening and currently happening. Oh, well, I mean, you'd like tased me or something. What? You electrocuted me. No, it's not electricity. It doesn't make it better. For a brief moment, I think about overpowering this wolf, somehow turning the ship around if I can figure it out. Sensing hostile intent, proceed with caution, Mikis doesn't say anything, and I see him gripping into his cup tightly. I get the odd feeling that he didn't expect me to point these things out to him. Did he think that I was that unintelligent? I can tell he's calculating something in his head right now, and that makes me nervous. Maybe I should have just played dumb. We stare at each other for a long while until Mikis' steely gaze forces me to look away. I choose to glance up at the ceiling, decided to change the subject and give myself some time to think. What is that thing? Mikis clears his throat. What? Voice. I knelt up at the ceiling in the vague direction where I heard the sound come from. The thing can apparently sense my hostile intent. Oh! Mikis looks up the ceiling too. That's Computron. That's Computron. Computatron. Or Com. It's very annoying. Aren't you Com? I can provide diagnosis on this ship on the mood and competence of crewmates on. Thank you, Com. Anyway, he's not actually a sentient. He's a program that can process language and spit out information stored in its database. I'll make his pauses. I'm sorry. You probably don't understand what I'm talking about. I think I do. Artificial intelligence, maybe? I reach intensely for the pocket of my jeans, but I remember that I left my phone on the bedside table. Amicus' eyes widen once again, and I again wonder if I should be keeping my mouth shut. Revealing how much I know seems to be some sort of trigger for him. Ah, so, have you been in space before? No. I look out the window, staring at the stars. Okay, have your people ever been to space? No, we haven't. Yeah, you have. Do you know what atoms are? Nuclear energy? Maybe? No. Based on Nexus airlines of Earth, statements appear to be misleading, Amicus. I glanced at the ceiling again, realizing now that I got a constant spy above me. I looked back at Amicus and we stared at each other in silence for a long moment. And I realized how absurd all this is. Do you want with me? Amicus looks away, seeming to think. Well, it's part of a program only on my planet to introduce new aliens to Galactians. What is that? It's the Greater Galactic Civilization, Kate. It's a gradual strategy to slowly introduce Earth to the idea of modern sapiens. Oh, is this happening to our humans? Yes. I contemplate this for a moment, and when you're done showing me, you'll take me back. There's a momentary pause that I don't like very much. Yes. I imagine I'd hear these statements appear to be misleading from Com right now, if he were on my side. I look into my cup of brown sludge again. Oh, to be honest, I'm not all that interested, so can you just take me back now? Mika stares at me. Well, school and family, they don't know where I am right now. Well, I mean, don't you want to see the galaxy? I really think that would be amazing for someone like you. Hasn't seen me before, or seen it before. Wolf starts fidgeting with his paws, not looking at me, choosing to stare out the windows. He has it wrong. It would be pretty cool to see the galaxy, but not with someone like him who kidnapped me, taking me somewhere for a reason that he isn't telling me. No, I actually want to go home right now. Mika stares at me for a full 10 seconds before looking away. How about we wait until we get to my home, then we can discuss it. No, take me back. I feel my heart hammering in my chest as I start to realize that this alien is definitely not going to take me back. I stand up and Amicus flinches and brings his paw up to his chest as if I'm going to attack him. Aww. I stay like this for a moment. I'm breathing hard, staring down at the wolf while Amicus stares back at me wide-eyed. Finally, Amicus lets out a big sigh, looking back out the window. Okay, I'm going to take you back, I'm sorry. I watched him for a moment, looking for signs of sincerity, but he still won't look at me. Really? Yes, but it's complicated. We're on a trajectory for AdAstra. It would take time for us to turn around. I keep watching him, not sure what to do. I feel like he's lying, but if he is there, really nothing I can do about it. I'm stuck with him. Probably millions of miles from Earth. There's no way of knowing how to get back. But I just stand there, arms folded tightly against my chest, staring out the window too. Until I see a star brighter than all the others, almost too bright to look at. Is that the sun? What? Is that my star? My planet star? Mika squints at the direction I'm looking at. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's your star. I can't remember the name we have for it. There's a bunch of numbers. How far are we? Not far. We could get back there in no time. Mika stands up next to me, seeming to stretch. So, we're going back? Yeah. Just gotta do it in a way that doesn't waste too much energy. I still have to get back to AdAstra after all. I stare at the direction of the sun again, my gaze slightly averted from the piercing thought. How long has it been since I was kidnapped? I wonder if my friends haven't reported to school or even the authorities. How am I going to explain this? There's a movement to the right, just as I'm turning to look. Something cold presses to my side of my neck. A familiar sensation of my muscles tightening up to make me slam back into the seat. At the same time, my mind seems to wipe clean and empty. Suddenly, I'm surrounded by soft and warm gray fur. I feel like a limp blanket as I'm flopped around, my muscles like jelly. It's not a bad feeling. In fact, I kind of feel great. I would smile if my facial muscles weren't working, or were working. I'm laid on the ground and then my arms are pushed behind me. Something starts to wind around my wrist. Still detecting consciousness from the human. It's a fluence chart used. I used it on the lowest setting. I think I hit him with too much at last time. Looks like he's mostly out anyways though. I hear Rack breath in my ears as my arms are jerked around. Damn it, he's more sapient than any child I know. Sensing the stress, would you like a stress tablet like this? Maybe even intelligent as a wolf. Well, almost. If they've been to space and they're far past level 5. I try to open my eyes, but the eyelids are too heavy to lift. Maybe level 10? My brain isn't really working either. I can't seem to focus. Padded footsteps move around my head. Then I hear what sounds like an alarm, followed by something I can't really explain. My mind settles as the deep voice starts up again. What do I do now? I messed this up about as badly as I could have. Solutions? Solutions. Consider returning the human back to Earth. If no evidence is left behind, it's unlikely his statements would be believed. Too late for that since I activated the stretch drive. Yeah, that was inadvisable. Yeah, well, I don't know how advanced his species is. If he was being misleading, then that means they're spacefaring. They could have controls in their star system. I wanted to get out as soon as possible. You know, you could have offered a solution before I did that. You set me to minimal interruptions. Next solution. Consider termination of the human and incineration of remains through the radiation of the stretch drive. At a pool! No! Next solution. Consider taking the human to AdAstra and use him as your pet as you originally planned. From there you may pass him off as less sapient. It's unlikely you will be questioned. I don't know. You already despise me, and after what I just did. Because alternate solutions point to a higher likelihood that the monitors will be alerted to your actions. Proceed with caution. Please wipe the last 10 minutes of the conversation and go into sleep mode until I wake you. I need to think. Wiping memory, entering sleep mode. A few more moments of silence go by and I feel a wave of fatigue. I start to fall asleep. Pat's footsteps move closer to me and I feel a presence looming. Then something heavy and soft rests on my forearm. I'm sorry. This was a mistake. Then I'm dragged for a short while before I come to rest on something shaggy and soft. Then silence. Then sleep. I float in a void of nothingness. Not even blackness. Nothingness. A feeling of having no sense of self, the boundaries of being having no boundaries. Makes me panic. I'm still here, but nothing else exists. Am I all there is? I feel the borders of my sanity start to bend and break. It only lasts a moment before something massive and all-encompassing grabs hold of me. Instantly, I'm comforted, calmed by a sense of complete security. All is as it should be. I crack my eyes open to a gray ceiling, the familiar hum of the ship in my ears. My back aches as I feel my hand bunched up underneath me, making me arc uncomfortably. The numbness isn't there like last time. Instead, it just feels like I woke up from a deep sleep. I can tell I'm back in the utility closet laying on the shag rug, but the door opens, allowing me to actually see it. Slowly, I turn my head just a bit, and I'm able to vaguely make out the small deck that I just been in. I see Mika to the far right, both his paws resting on the counter with the food dispenser, looking down at the panel. He got his back to me editing, one foot crossed behind the other, his tail swishing back and forth while he mumbles to himself. As slowly as I can, I turn over onto my side, trying to not let out a groan of relief as my back and my hands are relieved of pressure. I grimace through the pain and of having blood rush back in my fingers. That's when I realize that my hands are tied at the wrist behind my back with a cord of some kind. The end of it dangles through my fingers and feels smooth and metallic. Some slow movements with my hands tell me immediately that they haven't been tied well. My left hand is fairly secure, but the loop around my right is loose. I get the feeling that if I pulled hard enough, I might just be able to slip it. And just like that, it comes out. My shoulder jerks when I do it, and I freeze, waiting to see if the loop gets my nose. He goes on staring down at the panel, leaning forward to rest his chin on his fist. He's probably going to figure out the right way, I know it. He gets sighs as he hunches over further. I let out a breath I am holding as quietly as I can before I start looking around, moving my head as little as possible. On the shelf are a variety of different objects that I can't identify. They all have a heavy industrial look to them, and I know that I could use any of them as a weapon. There's a long pipe-like object at the end of the bottom shelf, and I imagine hitting or hefting that in both hands, bringing the end of it down on the top of that stupid wolf's. It gets slowly straightens up and I stiffen, closing my eyes. I hear the wolf move, paddling in my direction. That continues until there's a pause and I can feel his presence standing in the doorway. I crack open an eye just a tiny bit to see what he might be doing. I get a vague image of him standing over me, looking down. Hello? You've been Kate? I don't move and I breathe as I can. Hello? I must know I'm awake. I can feel myself shaking from all the tension. Damn it. I guess I'm almost himself as he turns my move back towards the neck. That's when I realize that this might be my best chance to make a move. He's not going to take me back. He's knocked me out twice and that's reason enough to do what I'm about to do. As quietly as I do, I roll over and reach up for the metal pipe. By some miracle, I manage not to cling against its metal pipe rack on the front. Quietly, I bring it up both hands as I stand. It's heavy, a lot heavier than I expected, but I can manage it. I focus on retreating Wolf's back and move at half run. My bare feet allow me to quiet pad towards him. Despite that, I see his ears come up at the last second, his body starting to shift in a way that tells me he's about to turn around. And I swing. What happened next is something I can't explain. I aim for his head, wanting to cause as much damage as possible. Not really thinking about the consequences of what might happen if I seriously injure or even kill him. But for some external reason, the trajectory of my swing suddenly dips down as if caused by some invisible magnet, making me miss Amicus' head. The strange force doesn't lessen the power of my swing though, and it carries through to land with a hand, beating something to the side of the wolf's thick neck. Ah! Amicus cringed, both paws covering the back of his side of his neck, dropping into a crouch. He looks back at me, his eyes are wide and wild, an expression that sends a shock of fear into my body. I suddenly see him as a wild animal, a wild, scared, very angry animal. I raise the pipe again, over my head, bring nail on the head I just as a miss. But Amicus is fast. He leaps up from the crouch in an upward and forward motion straight into my chest. I wheeze, but I manage to stay on my feet as the wolf carries me back to slam against the wall of the deck. Amicus snarls into my face, teeth bared, one eye winching shut. I struggle, but there's no way. He handles me like a ragdoll, like a toy. This must be how someone feels during a wild animal attack. Completely helpless, suddenly wondering why evolution left us so damn defenseless. What the hell are we doing? Ah! Amicus yells at me as he lets go of my wrist, of the paw of his neck, catching as he does. Damn it. I struggle with my freed hand, grabbing Amicus' face and trying to gouge his eyes. The wolf immediately lets go of his neck and grabs the pipe. Wrenches it halfway, but I hold on and almost get lifted off my feet. He squeezes it one way, then violently in the other direction, throwing me to the floor of the deck as I lose my grip on my weapon. Amicus advances on me as I lay flat on my back, staring up at him wide-eyed, realizing how big a mistake I made, thinking I could handle a 7-foot-tall, muscle-bound wolf. I wonder if he's going to come at me with the pipe, but he throws it to the side. He starts to lean over me, still snarling. You little prick, this time I'll bind you up to your shoulders. How does that sound? He grabbed me up by one of my arms, trying to pull me up, but I go limp. Get up. Our wounds will make you. He grabs my other arm. That's when I notice his wide stance over me and a particular bulge between his legs. I hardly think about it, drawing back one foot as I launch it as hard as I can into his crotch. I feel a distinctly soft form gets flattened under my foot as it gets trapped between the foot of my kick and the substantial weight of Amicus's body. If there was any doubt in my mind that this male alien would be affected any differently compared to the male human, his reaction quashed it. Amicus freezes, eyes widen, hunching over me even further while his thighs snap together, trapping my foot. We both stay frozen for an awkward length of time as I stare at what I've just done. That's when I see that device hanging on his waistband, the one that he'd been using to knock me out. I struggle to pull my foot free of the surprisingly tight embrace of his thighs while at the same time pulling my hands out of his now limp grasp. I reach for his waist, grabbing the device. Amicus, probably distracted by the unexpected nutshot, doesn't seem to notice and I finally yank my foot free. As I stumble to my feet, the alien half-heartedly grabs at me and I struggle against his collar before reaching for his red cape and pulling it over his head. Amicus finally stumbles back, one paw flying over to his crotch, the other struggling with his cape as he stays bent over, mouth hanging open, making a weird gasping sound like he was holding his breath. I look at the device in my hands, desperately trying to understand how to use it. A glass panel that takes up most of the face of the device, like a phone, but two metal prongs stick out of it within. I frantically push at the screen and it comes to life, displaying a vertical bar. About the tenth of it's filled from the bottom with a light blue color. Push at it with my thumb, waiting for something to happen, electricity to start in between the prongs or something. Inside the bar filled with the side of my thumb. Push it all the way up till the color turns dark violet. I hear a snarl and see Amicus finally tear the cape off before he comes to me again. One paw still over his crotch, the other reaching out to me. I don't have time to think, I just duck under his approaching paw and press the prongs as hard as I can into his body. It sinks in his stomach and I hear the wolf make a huff sound into my ear. There's a pause as nothing seems to happen. Then I press harder and squeeze the device and the result in an instant. There's no sound, but Amicus' body seizes violently, shaking as if he's having a seizure. The muscles in his stomach tense hard and push the device back out a few inches. I hold it there, not wanting to let up in case it isn't enough, in case he would just recover and come at me again. After a few seconds, the wolf seizing and shudders stop on its own. I start to pull back and get a glimpse of Amicus' face. His muzzle hanging open, foam and drool hanging out from his chin, his eyes rolling back into his head. Oh! Oh no! It's a scary sight, so I try to back away and Amicus comes with me. Contact with the device having been the only thing keeping him balanced. His weight takes me down, and the next thing I know that I'm flat on my back, struggling to breathe as Amicus' incredible weight crushes me into a metal deck. Practically envelops me with his soft furry body, his big head resting on my chest. I stare down at him, watching as his black lips and eyelids twitch, his tongue hanging out as he makes sporadic snorting sounds. I gasp and strain as I spend the next minute working myself out from under him. Grimness seen as his foamy drool smears on my chest. Finally, I managed to break free of his dead weight and crawl a few feet away, spending a few moments catching my breath. I look back at his still twitching form, his rump stuck slightly up in the air. I wonder how long I have before he wakes up. There's a long, shiny sin cord around my left wrist, and I start to work at the knot. It's a strange material, smooth and metallic, yet it bends as easily as rope. It's a pain in the ass getting it undone, though. It's like the dumb wolf just put as many knots into it as he could. He probably had no idea what he was doing, now it makes sense why I was able to get out of it so easily. Oh, oh, crap, I missed. Wait. Oh, I pressed a different button. While I'm undoing the mess, I keep looking over at him. The twitches and snorts are subsiding, which I'm not sure is a good thing or not. Come on. Does a funny pull last tingle out, straining the metal rope thing out in both my hands. I look between it and knock and the knocked out wolf in front of me, giving my head a little shake. What the fuck is even happening? I get to work, planting my butt on Amicus as I pull both of his paws behind his back. I have some difficulty keeping my balance as I lift his heavy arms and start winding the rope around his wrists. I'm not exactly an expert at tying hands behind the back theater, but I feel far more confident in my work than Amicus ever should have in his own. I guess his carelessness makes some sort of sense considering I'm a tiny human and he's a giant canine. He probably thought he'd just be able to toss me back in the closet if I got free. I look over my work, somewhat satisfied with how neat and tight the binding is. I shift an upside off wolf's ass, forcing me to put my hands back and steady myself on his sides. They're thick and heavy muscle, and that makes me realize that they might also be a problem. While binding his arms is the start, I have no doubt in my mind he'd be able to take me out with a few nasty kicks. I stand up and start looking around for more of that rope, but that's when I notice something strange happening outside the window. Thin streaks of white light stretch and bend, moving slowly from the front before arcing in long lines to the sides and disappearing from sight. I stare, mesmerized, then suddenly feel sick at the sight. I avert my eyes, looking at the wall while I watch the strange light show out the corner of my eye. Are those stars? Are we in some sort of wormhole? Or what was it called? Hyperspace? I'm starting to get feeling that I'm very, very far from Earth now, which makes me feel even more sick. I want to keep my mind off it, so I set about searching the deck for more of the metal rope, trying to ignore that we might be moving at the speed of light into the depths of space. I don't have much luck. Mostly everything in the ship is flush to its surface with very few moving parts. I end up going back to the utility closet, and that's when I see that metal polygon with the long cord sticking out of it. The one I knocked off the shelf earlier. I didn't lean over and pull at it, deciding that it should hold, even if it's more plasticky and not metal. 5 minutes later, I have his legs bound together. I search around for the taser for another minute before finding it pinned between Amicus' chest and the deck. I'm hot and sweaty as I finally sit back against the opposite wall, staring at the face down wolf and his bindings. I weigh the taser in my hand, going over scenarios in my mind for what I'm going to say to him when he wakes back up. Yeah, probably should have thought about that. Not sure how long it takes. An hour in the queue before Amicus starts to stir. First he groans and he rolls over a few times, then draws up his bound legs before trying to work his paws free. Finally, he opens his eyes, and because he's on his side, I'm the first thing he sees. He squints, frowns, then groans again, turned over onto his stomach. What the hell? I clear my throat and swallow, trying not to show how nervous I am. Yeah, what the hell? Taste me again. What? Amicus turns his head to look at me again, then looks away, letting out a narcotic groan. Oh, my stomach. What did you do? Exactly what you did to me. I held my taser, turning it in the light so the wolf can fully see it. Amicus stares at it for a moment before letting his face fall back to the floor of the deck. Oh, God, I feel like I'm on fire. Did you use it at full power? What the hell is wrong with you? Despite my fear and anxiety over the entire situation, I'm able to feel indignant. Me? You did the same thing to me! Then lied to me, then tased me again, then tied me up! You're crazy! I would never use the full power on anyone. Mika seems to ignore my rant as he rolls onto his back, arching over his tight paws, probably stretching out the muscles that I'd hit with the taser. I wait a while, listening to the grunts, groans, and complaints as Amicus continues to whine. I'm not that stupid, though. I can tell he's stalling for time, trying to figure out a way to get out of this. I stand up. Take me home. Amicus opens one eye, glaring at me. What? I said take me home. Amicus goes quiet for a moment, his eyes closed, and he forces himself to sit up, visibly cringing as he's forced to use his stomach muscles. He scoots back with more complaints until he plants his back against the wall behind me. See his shoulders shift, his biceps bulging, and I can tell that he's working and testing the restraint. Raise the taser. Stop moving or I'm going to hit you again. Fuck off. I move towards him, brandishing the taser like a sword. Hey! 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 He just kicks his feet up, trying to block my attack. Now I see a real fear in his eyes. Stop moving and tell me how we get back. I really want to shock him again. It did look pretty painful, and on top of that, I don't want to knock him out for hours while our little ship is hurtling through space. He glares at me for a moment, his feet still in the air before he slowly lowers them. I'll show you if you let me go. I actually laugh at the sound. And the sound seems to startle the wolf. Are you kidding me? Why should I trust you at all after what you've done to me? He gets his ears flattened. Tell me where the hell you're taking me and why. Otherwise I will zap you again. He seems at loss for words. Can't tell you. Glaring for a moment, consider I just jabbing him again, right then and there. Why not? The wolf remains silent as he looks away from me. I feel myself getting even more angry. I'm tired of this alien holding me hostage. Well, I guess I'll just have to figure out it on my own then. I turn away and start moving towards the front of the deck. The Mickey shifts around behind me. What? You don't know the first thing about this ship. Don't! The big wolf groans as he tries to get his feet under him. Don't touch anything. I ignore them and move to the panel, looking him over. The big one in the middle looks promising, and I start poking at it. I know I won't be able to figure out how to turn the ship around, but the wolf's worry over me touching the panels gives me an idea. We can probably mess things up to the point where you have to tell me what he's doing, or even how I might be able to get back. There aren't many other options aside from torturing him. It's something I don't really want to do. Lines and shapes move with my finger, and Roman numerals pop up randomly here and there. Hey, what are you doing? Mika's toughs and pops behind me, just as the circle appears and compresses around my finger like it's zeroed in on something. I look back and see Mika's hobbling up onto his tied together feet, looking just about ready to topple over. I have no idea what if he was suffering vibration under my finger, not like my phone's haptic feedback. Alright, in sleep mode. Locked on Stella 556425. No! Stop! Last directive! Voice commander piloting our reserve for the Emperor. Humans, stop! Mika starts hopping towards me on his bound feet, and I scramble to the side so he doesn't run into me. No! Wolf stares down at the panel, and I look out the window as the stars seem to curve all the way to my right, making me feel sick again. The next thing I know, the cabin is lit up by an obnoxious red glow. The windows suddenly tint, blocking the worst of the light, and that's when I'm able to see a massive ball of fire in front of the ship. The size of it is incredible. A little projection in the circle posture, ensure safety straps are in place, making correct maneuvers. I only have a moment to wonder what the hell Kong is talking about when we get in or strung sideways into the left window of the ship. The impact is mostly cushioned by Lucas's body, and I hear him yell and curse under me. Move! Get in the seat! I struggle to reach out to the seat from me, but I can barely lift my hand. The gravity of the story is so powerful it feels like it's going to suck out my soul. Then I suddenly boosted up by something behind me. Behind me, I look back. The movement makes me feel like my neck is going to break. I see Mika switch his back, planted against the window, his feet pushing me up to the seat. I managed to grab the armrest and pull myself in. Now the left armrest is taking my back. It didn't feel like as if professional wrestlers slamming me into the back right. Mika jumps from the window high enough that his feet land against the right side of my chair. Then he jumps in, managing to glitch himself in the footwell of the opposite seat. Each shields are compromised. Expect heat damage to outer layer of the ship in 30 seconds. Security was thoroughly in the gas as when he pushed himself up the seat, both feet planted against the panel Look at your right arm and left. You see the blue painted red buttons? The shot will come out of the stand over them. Now, drag your finger across to the left. You secure the ship. Feel panic slowly rise in my chest at the idea of starting the goddamn station. Let's do it. Point us away from the star. I do as I'm told, sliding to some gingerly of the green pan. Suddenly the ship turns, pulling away from the star, shifting the incredible force of gravity until it's pulling us back into the seats. Now see the level between us? Yeah. Look down. I'm reaching my hand out as almost impossible as it is to point back towards the star behind us. Gritting my teeth, I lean forwards as hard as I can, practically throwing myself forwards and grabbing onto the lever. Then gravity does the rest of the work and the lever comes down hard. I lose my grip and get thrown back into my seat. The gravity increases twofold and for a moment it feels like my entire body is being crushed into a pancake. Then the burning orange light is gone and the deck goes black. Running diagnosis. Mikas? Yes, come? Damage of ship is severe. Recovery mode is required. Enter recovery mode. Stand by. Alright. We sit in silence for a long time. I lean against the seat with both feet drawn up to my chest, feeling numb and shakily. I also feel stupid, embarrassed, and kind of guilty. On one hand, I nearly just got both of us killed. But on the other hand, this crazy alien almost killed me by bringing me here in the first place. At least it feels that way. I sit down. I still don't know what his only complaint is with me. I wonder for the 100th time if I were to wake up. I plug my nose and try to breathe through my nostrils. No air comes through. I sigh and look out the window at the blue glow that we found ourselves in. The star that we've just escaped is far away now, though it's still an almost blinding tiny orb far away to my left. Kind of like the sun was not too hot long ago. Lighting up all of the dust that surrounded us with a miracle blue glow. It's kind of calming. I look over at Mikas and I see him sucked in his chair, looking out the window. His shoulders are hunched, ears drooping, and his head down. He's on the edge of the seat because his arms are still tied behind his back, forcing him to lean forward a bit. Tom hasn't spoken since we went into recovery mode, and the ship still hasn't moved at all. The usual hum isn't even there. It's like everything is turned off. I finally decide to break the silence. Mikas? I see his ears flick, but he keeps his head down, not even looking at me. I swallowed and try again. Mikas. I see his shoulders rise and fall in the deep sigh, but he keeps silent. I'm about to just give up and slump back in my seat when he suddenly responds. What's happening? Wolf turns to glare at me. What do you mean, what's happening? You broke the ship. He turns away and continues to sulk. I feel a little anger at the end, and I realize that this alien isn't an alien at all. He's acting just like an upset human kid that didn't get his way. It makes me a little less afraid of him. Excuse me, do I have to go through a list of shit that you did to me? Mikas turns to me again and I can almost see his mind working to think of some sort of comeback. Well, I think you topped off by nearly throwing us to a starved human. You shouldn't have kidnapped me in the first place, Wolf. I should be calling you child, since that's what you are. Oh, this child outsmarted you, zapped you, and tied you up. I see him bristle, the hackles rising on his shoulders like a dog. You could have killed me. That setting is meant for creatures 3 times my size. How was I supposed to know? I don't know anything about what's going on. I told you what's going on. You really think I'm stupid, don't you? Mikas pouts and turns away again. I think you saw I was some stupid alien you could just take advantage of. I can tell you've been lying to me this whole time. Mikas flattens his ears even more, shoulders bunching up. Is that what you and your people do? Kidnap and lie to everyone you meet? Now his hackles really rise up and he turns on me fast. I try not to lean back. Despite the similarities, he's still a wolf and those teeth are terrifying. I do not lie. Wolf righteousness indignation seems to deflate. The situation is too complicated for you to understand. I glare at him. Who's tied up? Who's tied me up again? Vegas doesn't take the bait this time and remains stumped. Guess it doesn't matter now. I'm probably going to die out here with how badly the ship is burned. That makes my stomach twist a bit. I wanted to ask him if he just mocked me or if he actually thinks we're going to die. But another long moment of silence stretches between us. I look out the window again, and at the towering cloud of dust in front of us. Well, if that's the case, you just tell me what's going on. Mikas goes on, staring out his window. I sigh and lean back, resigned to the idea that I might not ever know why I was dragged out of space to simply get stuck and die in the dust cloud. Then Namika speaks. I made some mistakes. I glance at him, waiting, not wanting to say anything in case he stops talking. I didn't know your species was part of the Galactians. It's very illegal to make first contact without authorizing from parents. Authorities of the galaxy. I frown and Namika looks at the confusion on my face. How can I put this simply? There are 3 levels of Galactians. At the very top are the parents. They arrived from beyond our galaxy to spread their culture here. Mikas glances at me. You know what a galaxy is, that there are others outside of our own. Yeah? Mikas lets out a breathy chuckle. Of course! I probably should have expected that. That was just a cat. So you must know then that intergalactic travel is incredibly advanced, almost godlike, and that's what they are. Gods. There are 8 of them that were still present in our galaxy, though they rarely communicate with us these days. Then there are the siblings that what my species is a part of. The galaxy was scoped out by parents at the very start to find the most intelligent human species. They each select one, and we were the ones chosen and uplifted by the Romans. The note of pride in Namika's voice is obvious. From then on, it has been our mission to increase the intelligence in promising species and to teach them our philosophy and culture to uplift. I try to make sense of that in terms and I can understand. So you spread your culture for their parents, like your god, and your species are like emissaries? Mika shrugs. Yeah, sort of like that. That doesn't sound so great, especially when I compare it to things that have happened on Earth. Mass galactic assimilation. So, why are they doing this? If they got here at the same time and did the same thing, does that mean they're working together? Mika shakes his head. We don't really know all of the reasons for what the parents do, but we compete with the other siblings. That brings me to the rest of the sapiens in the galaxy, the children. The siblings uplift these children and bring them into our fold under the direction of our parents. Oh, fuck, my throat's getting dry, I'm sorry. Again, they haven't told us exactly what's going on, but we came to the conclusion that it's some sort of competition, and we mean to win for our parents. So, I'm a child? Well, no, not really. I've been calling you that, but you're not part of the Galaxians. That's where I made my mistake. Like I said, it was illegal for me to contact you, but I didn't know. How did you not know that? Shouldn't you have a record of this type of stuff? That's the confusing part to me. I found Earth in the library, so there was a record of it, but there wasn't much, just a few footnotes about a sapient species there. But because that record exists, I know that your species was uplifted to child status at some point in Rome. Presumably, but sometimes the species is unable to uplift for different reasons. Too aggressive, too docile, too intelligent. Ah. Mikas glances at me. I thought this is what happened to your species. If we've been uplifted, doesn't that mean you've already made first contact? Yes, but you're still not part of the Galactians. That's why I made the mistake. You should know about it, but you don't know. Knowledge of other intelligent life is sacred, and for whatever reason, your species lost it. mean, yeah, we are still trying to figure out the whole other intelligence out in space. Like, obviously we're not the only ones. Like, that would be complete bullshit if we were. Especially recently, it was discovered that alternate dimensions exist, or alternate universes exist. So it doesn't matter that we've made contact before. If the knowledge of the Galactians has been lost, then any form of communication between us is first contact all over again. If all bliss has been cancelled or species in the past, don't completely cut off contact. They're permanently part of the Galactians. I've never heard of something like this happening before, so I panicked. Calm. Because glances at the ceiling. Wasn't able to tell me that until he connected to your Nexus. Nexus? Another word that doesn't translate. Like the technology that connects places, people, information. Internet? That's your word for it. So, I try to understand everything I'm being told. Why didn't you just tell me all this before you kidnapped me? Or knocked me out? I see Mika's ears flatten and he looks away, clearly ashamed. I don't know. I didn't fully understand the intelligence of your species yet. So I could just lead you to believe things. Don't say anything, and Mika's shifts like awfully. Even you on Earth after you saw me, you might have gone to the authorities on your planet with the knowledge which might lead to a monitor being alerted. Because answers my question before I can ask. Monitors are basically the ears, the eyes of the parents. They monitor the galaxy. What happens if they are alerted? Mika sighs deeply. I don't know. It hasn't happened in a long time, and I don't think anyone has ever broken this particular law. It's one of the most important laws we're supposed to follow. Knowing I'd broken it. Mika pauses. Scare you? Mika shakes his head but doesn't say anything. I try to piece all of it together in my head. So, did he panic and kidnap me? Was either that or kill you? Or leave you in hope best, but that was a risk that I felt I could take at the time. Mika seems to shrink in his seat. I guess I just didn't want to tell you because I knew I'd disrupt your life in a terrible way. I thought I might be able to make you forget and want to stay with me if you saw my home. But why? What did you do in the first place? What did you want from me? Mika looks at me for a long while, probably debating on how much to tell me, then he turned away. I need a pet. Excuse me? Mika shrinks up even more in his chair. It's a very long story. I glare at the back of his head. Well, if you want to be here for a while, can I have time? Then I have time. My father was the emperor. The throne was mine to take, but my brother has challenged me, so we're both competing for it. He just looks at me out of the corner of his eyes for my reaction. His expression tells me I should be impressed, but learning he might be an influential figure among his people doesn't really seem too crazy after the events of the past day or so. And getting a pet will help you. My brother has one, a sibling species, which means that his pet is on the same level of the hierarchy as us. I frown. Oh, and that's unusual? Definitely. It shouldn't even be legal, but somehow he negotiated it. They signed the contract and everything. I shake my head. So what does having a pet do? Mika shrugs. It's a good status symbol to have. The fact that my brother was able to obtain such a prestigious pet shows his skill at negotiation and has put me at a huge disadvantage. I need to do something even more grand to impress my father's advisor. He's the one that will choose between us. By kidnapping me? Mika growls. That wasn't part of the plan. I thought you know what I was and be amazed that a wolf had come back to your species. I was going to make a deal with you, like my brother did with his pet. I wanted a sapien that no one had ever seen in a long time. So that's why I'm here. To you as some pawn in some power struggle in some alien empire far away. So why can't you take me back? What if I promise not to say anything? I would take you back if I could. I realize now that would have been a better option, but I can't. Why not? First of all, the ship might be damaged beyond repair. Secondly, there isn't enough power to get back. Earth is on the outer reaches of how far I could travel. I need to rest to return home. I managed to stop myself from telling the wolf that all of this is his fault and shouldn't be my problem at all. Well, can we get more power when we get to your home, then go back to Earth? Now, it's the type of power that the parents produce. We're not able to harness it yet. So get more from them, from wherever you got this power in the first place. Amicus leans his head against the headrest. Our parents authorized and distributes it, and for whatever reason they stopped supplying it when we lost our emperor. I feel myself growing more and more frustrated. And how the hell are you using it now? A long silence goes by. This was my father's ship. Only the emperor has constant access to the technology. I borrowed it to get to you. I glare at them. You mean you stole it? You know, you're pretty dishonest for someone who says they never lie. Another soft, rumbling growl from him. Times are desperate. Ask your dad to take me back then. If you didn't gather from earlier, he's dead, so no one has access to it right now. I'm just using up what was left. I stare at Mika for a while, words failing me. Listen, I didn't want you to do all those things I did. Oh, sorry, I laughed. Oh, really? Yes, I was planning to bring you to the place to live a good life and forget your old one. Then when you started to ask me those questions, I realized your intelligence is much higher than I thought it would be. Then Tom thought you might attack me, I made mistakes. Because that's how another huge sigh and slumps in the seat, looking away. Several minutes go by in silence, both of us were staring out in the eerie blue. So what now? What are your plans? Because is the one to laugh this time. Reality's gone. Reality's gone if you let me. Look at him incredulous. Mika sighs. Listen, you have no idea how to handle this ship. I can at least one diagnosis and see what we can do about this. What's to stop you from knocking me out again? If you don't attack me or hit me with the nerval again, then I won't have to. Look to my left, onwards, and pick up the little taser device. Yes? Mika's eyes it uneasily. Like, yeah. How can I trust you after everything that happened? I give you my word. He frowned. And you could go back on it just as easily. I would never do that. I don't make up promises lightly, Kate. Mika is so indignant that I actually believe him. Or he's just a really good doctor, or a really good actor. Either way, I'm going to have to let him go at some point, especially if we really can't get back to Earth. So I make my decision. If I let you go, you have to find a way to get me back to Earth. Mika thinks for a moment. I can do that if I become Emperor. And how long will that take? Mika shrugs. A few months, if all goes well. With your help, it could be even faster. You're very clever. More intelligent than some wolves I know, even. Months? My parents are probably freaking out by now. School starts in a few weeks. All of these things seem so distant now. Mika frowns. I'm sorry, but I can't do anything. I need to be an emperor to even talk to the parents. I say, but again, I don't have any options. I look Amicus in the eye. Promise? You have my word. For a moment, I sit there, contemplating. Then I sit up straight. Alright, stand up. Amicus perks up, then hops to its bound feet, almost falling over. Aww. I'm sure to place the nerval floats by behind me, just in case. A few minutes later, the wolf is free. We both regard each other weirdly for a few moments before Amicus finally sighs. Listen, I have no reason to decapitate you now that you know everything, but if it makes you feel better, you can hang on until we get to AdAstra. That's a fair exchange. Look back at the little device. While I have a little reason to trust Amicus, the wolf has virtually no reason to trust me. I consider it, then shake my head. If I put it away somewhere, I'd rather just not be thinking about it. Amicus looks at me in surprise, then rubs his stomach where I jabbed him. Okay, yeah, that sounds like a deal to me. Amicus holds up out of the paw, and I look down at the thick black pads on his fingers and palm before picking up the nerve and handing it to him carefully. For a moment, I imagined him merely turning the thing around and jabbing it into my face. But instead, he turns it and walks towards the back of the ship. Honestly, you deserve that. I notice his stance is slightly bow-legged, and he adjusts himself a few times. That's making me feel a little guilty about fighting dirty earlier. Only a little. On his way, he sweeps up his cape in one fluid motion before wrapping it around his shoulders. Then he moves to the back wall and, sticking out a paw, presses the panel and the small portion of the wall slides back, revealing our small room. Where I am, I can see windows and a little cot and various cupboards. He opens one of these and places the nervo inside before shutting it. He comes back out and notices me staring. That's my quarters. It's where I sleep. If you need to urinate or whatever else you do, there's a toilet in there. I'm fine for now. I feel my stomach gurgle, something that he's been doing for a while now. I'm a little hungry though. Make it rinse his brow. Wanna try again? Sure. It's not the worst food I've ever had. Perfect smell translates into the taste, but there's a strange hint of sweetness to it. Like chocolate, and that makes it a little more palatable. I can at least slow it down without gagging, so that's good, I guess. Because has his own cup. Oh, he's paying more attention to the panels than to his sphere. They may have been exaggerating a bit earlier. Damage appears to be minimal. We're actually lucky that he didn't lock onto something worse like a pit. There was one very near that star. Pit. He shrugs, waving his hand in the air as if brushing my question aside. A very strong gravitational singularity that sucks everything up around it. Like a black hole. Black hole. Like, its gravity is so powerful that even light gets pulled into it. That's why it's black. He just looks at me in surprise. Oh! You know what that is? Guess I should stop being surprised, honestly. You humans really are something. You basically uplifted yourselves. I shrug. He touched on it in my astronomy 101 class. I don't know much about them. But the fact that your species found out about them in the first place. Anyways, Amicus presses the button before suddenly the hum of the ship comes back to life. System's back online. And Amicus pulls the lever and suddenly the blue disappears and the windows are filled with rapping stars again. Working. I immediately look away, feeling the chocolate mud start to work its way up my throat. We were actually almost to AdAstra when you took control. Amicus rubs the side of his neck, rinsing as he stretches it out. Should be there fairly soon. What is this? I wave my hand at the window, not looking. Bending light? The stress drive. Basically, space is being shortened ahead of us. Amicus puts his palm close together in front of himself and stretch out behind us. Amicus stretches his paws outwise. I don't really know how it works. Only the parents can build this kind of tech, and it's the only way I could get to Earth, or anywhere outside our star system, really. They even figure out a way to make time stand still around us when we travel. Otherwise, way too much time would have passed back home. You start to get a picture of how powerful these parents actually are. Beings capable of wrapping space and time to their will. So, how much more time? Arriving, that's totally done. And just like that, the stars become still again. Amicus grins. Welcome to AdAstra, Kate. I look out the window and see a large green and blue sphere-shaped globe. Beyond it, there's another globe, this one chalky and gray. A smaller and even brighter orb floats further to the right, powdered almost pure white. Amicus points at the more Earth-like sphere. That's specifically AdAstra. The planet to the left is Anorgus. There aren't many people there aside from miners. Right? Not that of miners, that's the one with the pickaxes and stuff. The smallest is Torque, another moon. I know you live on a planet, so AdAstra might seem a bit small to you. I press a hand on the window and notice that it's ice cold. Looks pretty big from here. Amicus leans over to the console and starts touching at the screen. Re-entry sequence engaged. Go ahead and put your safety straps on. Re-entry is never comfortable in smaller ships. I hurriedly do as he says, sitting down and trying to figure out the seatbelt. Eventually, Amicus has to come over and help, showing me how the strap just feeds into the slot. This automatically pulls the strap tightly across my waist and chest. As Amicus gets in his own seat, we start to curve around to the darker side of AdAstra. Oh god, my throat. Every now and then there's a bit of downward tug of my stomach, sort of like when the passenger jet I was in was landing in Rome. I imagined that things would rattle around, along with a bunch of fire and heat like in a Hollywood movie. Instead, there was only rumbling sounds that accompanied the gentle vibrations through the seat. There isn't any fire, but I do start to see blue flashes on the otherwise black windows. Look over at Mikas, and see that he's got his eyes closed, looking relaxed. The wolf opens his eyes and smiles gently at me. Don't worry, this is all normal. I realize how nervous I must look, so I nod and lean my head back in the seat. The electric blue flashes stop after a while, and then I feel one final downward pull on my body before the rumbling fades out. We sit in complete silence and darkness for a moment before I hear Mikas moving next to me. Okay, we're in the hangar right now. Just follow me into the palace. Mikas gets up, but the ship stays dark. So does the hangar. Okay, why aren't there any lights? Everyone's probably asleep. I don't want to wake them up. I get the feeling that he just doesn't want anyone to catch us, so I don't say anything. I feel with my seatbelt, unable to get it undone until I feel Mikas lean over me, breathing my air as his large paw covers mine, pressing something that releases the strap. I stand up, feeling around blindly as I hold on to the seat, only barely able to make out the red bristles of the headrest in front of me. I reach out a hand. Hey, Amikus's rough paw pads envelop my hand. What's wrong? I can't see anything. Oh! Do you not see in low light? Mikas starts pulling me along before I hear a soft beep, then a whooshing sound. Not really. Another sound catches my attention. Crickets. They have crickets here too? At the same time, I'm hit by a wall of humid warmth, almost like walking into a sauna. Mikas puts his paw against my chest. Wait a second. Then I hear a soft thud followed by a grunt. Hello? Lean down. My eyes have adjusted a bit more to the dark and I'm barely able to make out what I think are paws reaching up towards me. I crash down and Mikas grabs me under the arms before pulling me clumsily off the deck to the ship. My face smashes up against his furry chest before I'm set down on my feet. Oh god, I want that to happen to me. Bitch, I want to be manhandled and hugged by a buff 7-foot wolf. That would be awesome. I love that. Alright, so we're just going to go straight to my room. Try not to make too much noise. I start to nod, but Mikas is already pulling me along. He immediately presses down on me like a physical force, and I start to worry that I might actually have trouble surviving on this boat. It's really hot. I think it will cool off once we're inside. I can hear it panting heavily as we move through the hangar. I still can't see much, just angular shapes in the darkness. Finally, I see some light ahead, along with some cold air. I turn the corner and I have to blink against how bright it suddenly becomes. Okay. I look around at the pillars and marble floor, bright lights above me, and what looks like a garden complete with statues extending out through the archways. Well, at least I know Mikas was lying about living in the palace. What do you think? Wow, I mean, it looks really cool, really expensive. I don't know if that last part was such a great compliment, but Mikas seems happy. Thanks! It's going to be your home for a while, so I'm glad you like it. Mikas adjusts his cape, feeling out it a bit. This is only a small portion of the place. Of course I'll show you around later, but for now I want to go to my room and dry out a little. I must look like a mess right now. The humidity doesn't do my fur any favors. I can tell Mikas is genuinely embarrassed, even if he's trying to joke, so I put my hand in my hair. I have a little less to worry about, but I'm sure my hair is pretty crazy right now. True, that patch of fur really is something, though. The wolf reaches out and touches my hair, rubbing it between the pads of his fingers. We made physical contact several times over the last day, but this is the first time that it really feels friendly. We stand there for a moment, just long enough for things to get awkward. Mikas pulls his hand back, suddenly as if realizing what he's doing. Oh, be saved from having to think or something to say as we both hear footsteps coming from the hallway, right? Shit! But, hide and be quiet. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop here, because this video is like an hour and 30 minutes long, so, yeah, I'm gonna have to save here, so, yeah, obviously, I'll be coming back to this, yeah. So, anyways, that was it for the video. Make sure you all subscribe, like for more, and I'll see you all later. Peace out,